I'm going to say 2 words, and it's going to be crazy. Jeannie Mai, Jeannie Mai, Jeannie Mai. Jeannie Mai, Jeannie Mai, Jeannie Mai. Jeannie Mai Jenkins, girl, what happened? What had happened? Like, y'all are getting divorced. Jeannie Mai Jenkins and Jeezy have officially filed for divorce. What button should I push for that? Ugh, what's a sad button? They have filed for divorce, y'all. So if you have been anywhere under a rock and you don't know, Jeannie Mai Jenkins and rapper Young Jeezy filed for divorce. Let me do my little reporting steez. The rapper 45 filed for divorce from the Real Host 44 Thursday in Atlanta, Georgia, according to documents obtained by People. The couple were married for 2.5 years and had a prenuptial agreement. Let me play this again. Prenuptial agreement, 2 years, 1 baby. At least you secured the kid. This came out of nowhere. I have been watching this union play out on social media for the past 2 years, and they seemed really, really, really happy. It's a lot of weird things going on here. It's so many like nuances to this story that makes sense and doesn't make sense, but most of it doesn't make sense. Jeezy filed for divorce before Jeannie Mai. I just love saying Jeannie Mai. Now, in my experience, typically the woman always files for divorce first, so that's given kind of strange tease. I went to Jeezy's page and I noticed that he hasn't posted anything about his family in general in a while. Red flag number 2. He's posted some really like cryptic Instagram messages on his Instagram, but their Instagrams are not aligning. On her page, she's posting videos with her kid praying about their family. She's posting these long monologues on her Instagram page, talking about her great husband and how he's a New York 5-time bestseller with his new book that came out recently. So she's actually a doting wife, even as recent as last week, on her Instagram, and he's out here for the streets. And I'm confused about that. Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, although their romance looked really, really like a fairy tale almost, you know, since they came out on social media as being an official couple, then getting engaged, then having a baby. But what I've noticed is that the couples who like are on social media and they're showing like a bunch of romance and like they're really pushing the narrative on social media with pictures and like just overdoing it a little bit, those be the couples that be having the most issues to me. In my experience, the couples that are kind of a little bit more low key tend to be the couples that don't be out here getting divorced randomly. I don't know. Let me know if you agree. I feel really bad, but I also don't feel bad because we can never let Jeannie Mai live down her comment that she made about preferring white men as her main course and, you know, black men as her little side piece. Now, she has tried to like backpedal and pussy pop with that statement, and she's tried to, I will say, clean it up, but I feel like she meant what she said what she meant until it got backlash. And I feel like, you know, Jenny has been married before. Okay. Jeezy has not. Jeannie was married to the most whitest white guy there ever was. And she said that that was what she preferred in terms of being in a long-term relationship with. Jeezy has never been married. He does have kids, but he's never been married. He has been engaged once, but called it off. Red flag. Now, I have to speculate because I think we're all just speculating. We're all just coming up with our own theories as to what has actually happened with them. But I really And I don't know, for some reason, like in my heart, I feel like, and I'm sure this isn't true, but for some reason, I feel like there was some cheating and possibly on Jeannie Mai. Like, why would he go from being in love to him rushing to file for divorce? Something deep down in me tells me that there's going to be more to the story that comes out. It's not going to be just, irreconcilable blah, 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 differences. I think it's going to be more to this story. Now, I think what's throwing me off is how she was literally still posting on her Instagram page, as a doting wife, Now, I will say that this is an example of people coming from two drastic different walks of life and trying to build a relationship in record time. Now, if you listen to my last episode with Keon, part 1, I think it's episode 37, one thing that he said is that he would not commit to someone until a year. And at first I was like, no, honey, no woman's going to wait around for a year just to even commit. But this is an example of how you move too fast. You don't know the person. You think you know the person. But especially if you guys are coming from two different, like, drastic walks of life, I don't know. I feel like Jeannie Mai spends a lot of her time in LA, it seems. And I feel like Jeezy is spending a lot of his time in Atlanta, which is another red flag. I also read that Jeannie Mai Jenkins, she said in an interview that in her first marriage, she struggled a lot with her temper. And she said that, growing up, she saw her grandmother have a really bad temper with her grandfather, and she's seen it with her mother. And she said that there's something that she's worked on in therapy, and that she has a really bad temper. Now, she said that in her first marriage, that temper, there was no type of, manly man to kind of put her in her place when it came to the temper. But she said that with Jeezy, he's the first man that challenged her and that she respected and made her kind of look twice at her temper. To me, that's saying a lot. A black man with I don't know her ethnicity. I'm assuming she's Asian. Don't quote me on that. But, temper, Jeezy has a temper. If you remember several years ago, Jeezy got in some type of trouble for basically attacking one of his kids, like coming at his kids like verbally in a verbal assaulting way. So I feel like it's two people with two tempers, and that's two big tempers. And I feel like that's something that's probably not going to be displayed early on. Now, I also feel like it's just, I don't know, like this is a surprise, but now the more I read into it and the more I look into it, it's kind of not a surprise. They just seem so very different. And I feel like that was my initial thought with them, is that they just seem so different. And listen, being different can work. Now, my real opinion is that can't work. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that it can work just to be PC. But my deep, deep feeling is that being drastically different from your partner is a recipe for what's happening now. I think that they both got what they wanted. They both, they got an open door into the other's worlds. And by that, I mean, I feel like since Jeannie Mai got with Jeezy, her dress game has, elevated. I feel like she has kind of elevated in, I don't want to say an urban space, but I feel like she has elevated in an urban space. And I also feel like she's elevated in general. And although there's a prenuptial agreement, she can still get child support. And I think that's one. Listen, stereotypically, they say that people of her ethnicity and background are very, 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 very money hungry. Listen, I ain't saying it. That's what the stereotypes are saying. So I feel like with her first husband, she was extremely adamant about never wanting to have a kid. She met Jeezy and had a kid, a year in? And so I feel like there's a level of respect that she had for Jeezy that she did not have for her first husband. And there's also an additional level of security that she had and has for Jeezy. Because you can even see, I remember when her and her first husband, let me look up her first husband's name, Jeannie Mai. Her first husband, I thought he was a country singer, but I think that he is just an actor. But I feel like his pockets were not long like Jeezy's. And I feel like there's just like a lack of respect that she had for him. And I feel like their divorce was not the prettiest thing. I don't think that it'll be an ugly divorce with Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. I think the only thing that might have an issue with is the baby. Their baby, I think, is like maybe 2 years old, I want to say, or about to be 2. And they're both filing for, I know he's filing for joint custody, and I don't know how that's going to fly. Tell me what you think. Are you surprised by Jeannie Mai and Jeezy's breakup and their divorce? Do you think that the fact that they come from drastically different worlds played a huge factor in them not being able to sustain a marriage? But the biggest question I have is, are you surprised? Listen, make sure you're following me on YouTube, on this YouTube channel, but also make sure you're following me on all my social media channels as well. Everything will be in the Dropbox, guys. I'm going to see you next time with hopefully some happier news.